Hi guys, okay, so today I want to make one of my favorite Italian dishes and comfort food, which is Osso Buco. So Osso Buco is basically veal shank braised in delicious tomato sauce and served with Risotto Alla Milanese, which I'll be making as well. But unfortunately, I cannot find veal shank or veal or beef shank or lamb shank anywhere. So what I will be using today is some beautiful beef short ribs and a nice piece of sirloin steak. So that will give me the sweetness of the bones as well as, really delicious meat. So we're gonna start, and I'm not gonna make this complicated because normally to make Osso Buco, it'll take me about 4 hours. But today we are going to make it easy. So I am going to start by heating some olive oil in my pot. Okay, so traditionally you would need celery, onions, carrots, garlic, but I'm not going to use any of that. I'm just going to add a little bit of onion and garlic. I'm not going to use celery or carrots because I will be using my Barilla bolognese sauce. So I won't be using any celery or carrot because in this beautiful jar of Barilla bolognese sauce, you've got the carrots, you've got the celery, so I don't really need any of that anymore. So my oil is hot now. What I'm gonna do is, so I've seasoned my meat with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I've got some flour here, some all-purpose flour, tepung gandum. So what I'm gonna do is just dip my meat, my beef, in flour, and then I'm just gonna sear it. Easy peasy. So I'm gonna do it with the short ribs as well. So this is gonna give a nice crust to my meat, and it's also going to help thicken the sauce a little bit. So we're just gonna sear it until it's nice and golden. Don't overcrowd your pot because then all the juices will come out and it will not brown evenly. So jangan letak terlampau banyak kat dalam beef punya pot sebab kalau tak juice akan keluar and it's going to be wet and you don't want that. So I'm just gonna give it like a minute on each side and then do the rest. Okay, so it's been a minute. And so it's got a really nice crust. You want it like that. And just flip it. And then do the same for the short ribs. Okay, so now this is done. We're going to remove it. So this is basically what you want. You've got a really nice, beautiful golden crust. And then you're gonna get like all these dark bits in your pot. It's okay, you want that. Just wanna add a little bit more oil. And then we're gonna throw in our onion and our garlic. Create the dark bit at the bottom of your pot because that's all flavor. You want your onions and garlic to be soft and translucent. Okay, so this is good. So now it's soft and translucent. And what you want to do is add your stock. So I've got about a liter of beef stock. I like keeping stock at home. Like if I don't use everything, I'll just freeze it so it's easy for me to use in my cooking. So I've added the stock and I've turned up the heat. And now beautiful steak. Sure that in. Do not waste the juices. Throw all of that in as well. And I'm gonna pour in my Barilla bolognese sauce. Just pour a whole bottle in. Okay, so I've added my Barilla bolognese sauce, and so traditionally the recipe calls for wine, but obviously I don't put wine in my cooking, so I am going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. This is just to add the acidity. Just about a tablespoon. And this is not traditional at all, but I'm a little bit obsessed with it. My smoked paprika, so just a little bit, just for the smoky taste. I love it so much. Give it a quick mix and season it a little bit. So I'm not even adding any herbs because one, I couldn't find any, and two, there's some herbs in the sauce, so the sauce is super flavorful, so you don't really need to put a lot of stuff in it. So you can season it with a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt. We are going to braise it for about an hour on medium heat, and while we braise it, we're gonna make our risotto alla Milanese. Okay, hi guys, I'm back, and our Osso Buco is braising beautifully, medium fire, and you can see the sauce is starting to sort of thicken a little bit. Okay, so I think about half an hour lagi. What I'm going to do now is prepare our risotto alla Milanese. And first thing you need to do is, okay, chop your onion. I'm using yellow onion or white onion. Cup of arborio rice, which I've washed and strained. And here I've got a cup of hot water. And I've got some homemade chicken stock as well. But in my hot water, wait, I'm just gonna move this. So I'm going to put some saffron in my hot water and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Because you want the aroma and the beautiful saffron color for your risotto alla Milanese. Roughly about 2 pinches. Okay, so you want to see. You're going to leave that for 10 minutes, so it's going to be bright yellow in color. I'm just going to put this aside. And then we are going to start with our risotto alla Milanese. And some butter. And I'm using unsalted butter. I always use unsalted butter. So it's still a bit hot and keras. Okay. Alright. And then once the butter is melted, we're going to saute our onion. Some people serve their Osso Buco with polenta. I can do that too. So you want to saute it until it's translucent. Okay, so once it's fragrant and translucent, you want to add in the rice. Throw the rice in, and we are going to saute the rice for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so this is done. Now I'm gonna add in my chicken stock. Gonna throw that in. We're gonna do 800 ml first, and then we're gonna add the rest in, like gradually add the rest in. Okay, and you can see my saffron water. Now it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, golden yellow. So we're gonna add this as well. And then we're gonna let it cook for about 15 minutes. And then we're gonna add in the rest of the stock and our cream, our Parmigiano Reggiano, and season it, and it's done. And we can have it with the Osso Buco, which is, oh my goodness, it's thickening now. Look at that. Oh, that is so good. So with risotto, the first 5 to 8 minutes, you don't really have to stir it that much. But after that, once the rice absorbed almost all of the liquid, you need to constantly stir it because you don't want it to burn and you don't want it to clump up. Okay, so now, as you can see, my risotto has absorbed most of the liquid and it's almost cooked. So what I'm going to do now is add my Parmigiano Reggiano. So I've put some Parmigiano Reggiano here. It's about half a cup. Throw it in, and some cream. So just season it with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And once our Osso Buco is done, we can serve it all together. Okay, so you can see my risotto is done. It's nice and creamy, thick and creamy. Okay, so you want to turn it off the heat right now. So I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes until my Osso Buco is done, and then we're gonna serve it together with the risotto. Okay, so my Osso Buco is nice and thick. Oh, that's beautiful. So now we're gonna add in the gremolata. Which is minced garlic with parsley and lemon zest. And we're going to give that a quick mix. You can also just sprinkle it on top. I like to add it in the end so that all the sauce will get the fresh flavor of the gremolata. Alright, now we're going to dish our Risotto Alla Milanese. Look at this. Oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, that's good. And then we're gonna pour our Osso Buco on top. Gonna go for the short ribs. Can't wait to find some shanks. Oh, that's beautiful. A little bit more. Okay. A little bit more sauce. And I'm going to shave some Parmigiano Reggiano on top. A little bit of black pepper. And voila. It's your Osso Buco with Risotto Alla Milanese.